Yo, what is back? 217 podcast week 5. Gonna recap Illinois men's basketball. Gonna preview the game today versus Michigan. Big game for Illinois today. I'm excited to see a healthy Illinois team versus this uber talented Michigan team. Um, the Iowa game looked like the Illinois team that we should have been seeing all year long. They looked really good on offense. They looked really good on defense. They looked pretty phenomenal in general. I'm going to highlight some of those stats while also looking ahead mainly to Michigan. I'm going to start off today by previewing a little bit to next week. Next week is obviously EIU unofficial. Going to be a great time with the boys. Always love doing that stuff. Miss those guys every single weekend that I'm not home. I'm going to see some friends that have friends of friends. It's going to be a good time. Probably have a couple of those guys on just to shake it up a little bit. But yeah, so next weekend, EIU unofficial is on Saturday. Sunday, probably be a later podcast. Probably be around 2-3. Not really gonna know what time that'll be because of the Saturday festivities. Hopefully it'll be around 1-2. Depends on what time the guys wake up. You know, if they get up early, then we'll obviously run it then. But if not, no big deal. And yeah, so next weekend, plan is to have all of my guys in this room, have a bunch of chairs set up. We're gonna do a couple little not really mini games, but like guess that old Illini is gonna be a game. I figured that would be fun. See the knowledge on the guys. I know that these guys have been watching just as long as I have, so it'll be fun to throw out a guy's picture on the screen and then them have to name who it is. And then just gonna, talk some ball, have a good time. Won't be on here too long. I know that the shorter podcasts have been a little bit more successful in the views. Like I said last week, we're still at 100 subscribers. We're gonna do a little giveaway just to show my gratitude to everybody that tunes in weekly, subscribes, watches the podcast. I'm obviously not making any money off of this. I'm just trying to get on here and share my thoughts, give a little insight. I know that not everybody likes to go and look at the box score. You can just click on a little podcast, watch it on the way home from work, watch it on the way home from, a travel, anything like that. So, yeah, without further ado, we're going to hop into the Iowa-Illinois game this last week. This was a game that Illinois pretty much controlled the entire time. And it looked like the Illinois of old that we are used to. And so, yeah, we're going to quickly get into that game and go over my thoughts, where we kind of stand going into this game against Michigan. So obviously the big factor here was Tomislav Ivicic being back healthy, looked like the Tommy of old. I'm not always happy with our 3-point shooting, but for the time being tonight, during this Tuesday game, I thought Tommy was a bright spot. If he can just hit 2 threes a night, I don't really care if he attempts 4 or 5. I don't really want to see him get up into that 6 range. I feel like that's a little too much. And so looking at this, the only thing that I was a little concerned about was Tommy's rebounds. Only having 4 rebounds, that's a little concerning. But 22 points is an offensive explosion for this guy. He's one of the guys on the Illinois team that at any given night, if he gets going, he can get hot. He's a unstoppable guy on the basketball court. And then my personal biggest thing right now is the fact that the emergence of Will Riley over the last, I'd say, 2 weeks. Will finally gets to start and goes automatically. I'm going to add this picture to the stage. Automatically goes at a plus 28 plus minus. That's insane. That is really, really, really good. I mean, that is efficient. That is first round NBA talent right there. Like if you look, plus 28 is really high. I think he at the time right now is the highest plus minus in the Big Ten for this week of games. Just super glad for that guy. He struggled in the midseason mark, but he has really shown out as of late. Um, and he provided a spark for us on offense when he came off the bench, but he has been a very, very bright spot in some very low times for Illinois this year. Another guy, Kylan Boswell and Trey White. I'm going to tell the podcast exactly what I tell all my buddies. I love Trey White. I love his game. I think he does a phenomenal job for us on the defensive end. I think he's a great slashing guy to the rim. I think he can shoot the ball when he needs to. And he played 20 minutes, had 14 points, and was efficient. 62% from the field, efficient. 19 plus minus, efficient. I mean, just great. I'm a huge Trey White fan. Love Trey White. Probably my favorite guy on this team this year. And then Jonas, not a 20-point game that we've seen where he's gone for, 20, 30, 15 points. He takes a step back, understands that it's not his night, still gets 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. The thing with him is, if we look back at the box score, you look at his line, 1 turnover. That's huge. If he can be efficient and hold on to the ball and facilitate for this team and get guys open looks, he is the top 5 pick that everybody talks about. When he turns the ball over a lot and looks careless, then he's not so much. But he did what he had to this night, understanding that he can affect the game in other ways. I mean, he knew that, he didn't shoot very well and he didn't shoot the 3 very well, but he knew that he can affect the game in other ways. He played great defense. We looked really good on defense for the most part for a lot of the game. Now Iowa is missing Owen Freeman. He is he's the guy that gets them going. I know I figured Brock Harding was going to have a career night, and he sort of did. But this box score made me happy. This looked like an Illinois team that knew exactly what they were coming in to do. The only thing that I have that's negative for this game is I wish Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn would have gotten more minutes. I'm getting real nervous with him because I really like Dre. I don't want him to leave, but I just think that if he doesn't start playing a little bit more, there's got to be some other opportunities. Like, Brandon Podajemski doesn't play as a true freshman, goes to Santa Clara, and now he's backing up Steph Curry. I mean, it's just nervous. It makes me nervous. It sucks. I really like Dre. I just really want him to play more. I think that he provides a pretty good spark. Bring him in for Will. And I just think that he's got to get some more minutes. But I was thoroughly surprised with our fan favorite Ben Hamrickhouse. Hit 2 threes. Hey, pretty happy with that. Coming off the bench, shoot the ball. Him and Jake Davis. I mean, I'm okay with that. Hit 2 threes, walk off the court, get a Gatorade, say you did your job. We're not asking you for 20. You're not Marcus Damask. You're not Alfonso Plummer. You are somewhere way down below that. And if you can hit 2 threes a night, I will be perfectly happy with you. So moving on from that. But yeah, I watched this game. I was really happy with the way we played. It was another Illinois performance where it's like, yep, if this team plays like this, even with shooting, 9 of 29, which isn't great, this team can still make a deep run in the tournament if we play like this, if we rebound the ball, if we value the ball. Because, 5 turnovers, you are going to win a lot of games with 5 turnovers. I mean, that is taking care of the ball, valuing possessions, making efficiency on the offensive end, getting turnovers on the defensive end. I mean, it's just great basketball. It was nice to watch. It looked like the team last year where, we had great opportunities and we took advantage of the ball and we took care of it and we got great possessions and we were efficient last year, But overall, happy with this game. Super, super glad that I got to, tune in and watch this. I know my little brother was at the game. Lucky guy. I'm eventually going to be a season ticket holder for Illinois men's basketball and Notre Dame football one of these days. So never going to miss a game when I can, but a little jealous of that, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I'm very excited for today's game. It could go one of two directions. This Michigan team, since losing Juwan Howard, which I don't know if we'll ever have Michigan fans that'll watch this or Michigan fans that'll even like see this podcast, but the best thing that ever happened to you guys was losing Juwan Howard, because that dude got out coached by every coach in the Big Ten. Now, granted, he brought in some good recruits. You guys can sit there and argue with the wall that, your academics didn't let TSJ in, but that's your own fault. Oh, well. Never going to complain about that. But Dusty May is legit. This dude, and I don't think he's going to go to Indiana. I know there's a little rumor about him going to Indiana. He's an Indiana guy. He came out and blatantly said, like, Michigan's in a better spot than Indiana. I'm staying here. We've got a good roster. And so that's a little scary. You know, Danny Wolf, that dude is a monster. He's a really talented player. I think that he will probably have a pretty successful career in the NBA, if not overseas. He's a big dude that can shoot, handles the ball well like a guard. But at the end of the day, and Tanner said it in the chat right here, this will forever be how I feel about Michigan. Michigan is one of the teams in the Big Ten that I absolutely do not like. I don't enjoy watching them play basketball, football, and I'm not even an Illinois football fan. But when Illinois played Michigan during EIU's bye week this year for football, went up to Champaign and got to see Illinois just beat the ever-living you-know-what out of Michigan. So any day that Michigan loses, it's a great day. But a little nervous for today. Excited but nervous. Think we can play really well. Think we match up okay. I don't think we are going to be able to score. I think this game is going to be I think the over-under right now is sitting at like 150 something. I think that's going to blast open. Two pretty offensive talented teams, which it can kind of get a little sloppy for both teams. I know Michigan just had a absolute classic against Rutgers the other night where they should have lost. Namiri Burnett, shout out to him. Probably my cousin, probably not. I just made that up. Made a heck of a shot to win that game for him when Rutgers had all the momentum, up 12 with like 5 minutes to go. And so it just depends on what Illinois team comes to play today versus what Michigan team comes to play today. If they play the same way that Rutgers in that Rutgers game today, I think Illinois beats them. But at the same time, it's Michigan at home. We've had pretty successful trips up to Ann Arbor in the last couple of years. But at the same time, still, this is a legit Michigan team that has a legit chance to win a Big Ten title, and has a legit shot of making a deep run into the NCAA tournament. Even though I personally don't think that, and I talked about it last week, the level of gap between the top of the Big Ten and the middle of the Big Ten, I just think the Big Ten is weak this year. You don't have Purdue's not really the outlier. Michigan State's not really the outlier. I just think that if a Big Ten team gets the calls that they need against some of those like SEC teams that just run and gun and shoot the ball like crazy, or are efficient like Auburn, maybe they beat them. But I personally don't see I don't see that happening this year. I think it's going to be one of the Big 12 or SEC teams that win it, or Duke. But I think that with that being said, there are good teams in the Big Ten, but I think Michigan is one of those teams if they play well. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to look at the Big Ten standings right now. And as of right now, Illinois is currently sitting now back behind Oregon, which is a team that is red hot right now. Definitely don't want to be in that 8 range. We would like to be in that 7 range. But then again, with that being said, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. Michigan State is still at that 1 slot. And if we happen to get up on that side of the bracket, oh well. I just don't really. This year is going to be a really fun year in the Big Ten tournament because I think that from Indiana all the way up to Michigan State, all of those games are going to be competitive. And if it's whatever team gets absolutely baking hot in that stretch, that will probably win it all. Because there's not as much superpower this year. I mean, you don't have Edie, you don't have Terrence Shannon Jr., you don't have AJ Storr at Wisconsin. I personally think that Maryland team is sneaky. I think that they could have a real good chance of winning that tournament. They just lost a pretty close one to Michigan State on a half-court heave the other night. But I think if Illinois gets hot, they can do it, man. I really do. I think that they are a good enough team. I think they've got a good enough roster. I think Brad Underwood knows how to win in the Big Ten tournament. He's shown that over the last couple of years. And I'm excited to see this Big Ten tournament. I'll probably try to go to a couple of the games. I know it's over my spring break, so why not? But I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Big Ten tournament bracket as of now and kind of plug and play those teams into what it would be at this current moment, and kind of talk about that. And so as of right now, this is a little outdated. Really the only shakeup is Oregon over Illinois, and that's because Illinois hasn't played today. They will either go above Oregon or below Oregon. But watch out for Indiana. They are cruising right now. They look really, really good. Woodson knows he's going to be let go. He's said, screw it. He's just going to play to win. And that team looks pretty darn good right now. So as of right now, Illinois would be that 8 seed that is on the side with Michigan State. And at the end of the day, I'm okay with being on that side of Michigan State because – I personally think that it's really, really, really difficult to win those games, especially if you are the 1 seed that you sit and don't play for like 5, or I think it's like 3 or 4 days, and if you're not playing over those days, then it's going to be difficult to just jump back in and all of a sudden win another basketball game. So right now you would be looking at Illinois, Indiana, first game of the Big Ten tournament for us. We took care of Indiana at their place, but we played lights out that night. But at the same time, if you win a couple more of those games, you get to that 7 seed, then you're getting that 10-5, and I would be much happier with the 10-5 game than the than possibly play, or 10-15, excuse me, than possibly playing a 9 seed Indiana that is hot. But it's going to be interesting. It'll be fun. I'm really excited for it, like I said earlier. And I want to quickly look at the Michigan games over the last couple of days, over the last couple of weeks, and just kind of see what they're thinking for this game today. I know that Michigan is favored by 2.5. It'll be, I think, they'll either really take care of us or they really won't. I think that they can easily get after us with Golden and Wolf, but if they don't play as well, then so be it. They've had some really, really close games. Like every game that they have won in the last, let's say, month-ish has been besides the Michigan State game where they got handled, were 1-possession games. I mean, and if Illinois keeps it within a 1-possession game, KJ is a closer. He can do it. I mean, I really think that, the Mizzou game where he just took over in the last minute and a half, he's the closer for us this year. So if Illinois keeps this game close, we've got a good shot at it. We've got a good got a good shot at winning. And I don't really see Illinois getting blown out in this game. But then again, Michigan could come out real hot because they've not been playing well as of late. And this could be the game where they kind of break through. And I just think Brad's going to get these guys up for today. I think that it's going to be one of those games where, he sees that this is a 3.5 point spread now. And he's going to say, hey, guys, this is the first time we have been underdogs in Ann Arbor since the year that Io got his face or something, had to wear the mask going into that tournament. But, they ducked us the year before that in COVID, and then Io breaks something in his face, and we go up there and we just absolutely handled number 2 Michigan, and we're the number 1 team in the nation at the time. Coming into that next Monday when the AP poll came out. I think that we're hungry. I think now that we've got all of our pieces back, we're ready to play against anybody. Tighten the shoes up, lace them up. Let's get ready to play some basketball for 40 minutes. Brad's going to get these guys up. And I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be a great game. Nothing better than a 2:30, 2:45, 3 o'clock game on a Sunday where you can just sit back, order some food, sit back, relax, watch Illinois. I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm excited. First Sunday where I actually can watch the game after the podcast. Usually they play at that 11 o'clock slot, and it's just I come on here and I'm just like, because sports somehow has a everlasting impression on my mood during the days. And Sundays with Cardinals baseball is going to be rough sometimes, I think, this year. But we'll worry about that when we have to worry about that. But my prediction for today is Illinois is going to win this game by 5 points. I think KJ has a KJ-esque day. I think he'll have about 17 points, probably 8 or 9 rebounds, and 5 or 6 assists. I think that the bright spot of the day is we're going to go on a run late in the second half, and it's going to be powered by Will Riley and Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn. I really think that. I think that Ivisic is going to have his hands full with Golden. I don't think we're going to see as much production out of him today. But if we stay out of foul trouble, this game is an easy game for Illinois to win. I think we're the more talented team. This Michigan team turns the ball over a lot. They are very careless with the basketball. And they have some really, really hard stretches where they don't shoot the ball well and they aren't efficient and they don't really, take the most optimal shots. So I think that that's where we can attack. I'm going to be interested to see who guards Danny Wolf and what we do there. Because, if we have Morez Johnson and he's healthy, which he's out today, he's probably going to be out for till I think they said either the first or second game of the Big Ten tournament. Even at that, I don't really, we pretty much locked up a spot in the tournament, the NCAA tournament. Our resume is good enough. We have the quad 1 wins. And you've played against good teams all year long. So I think you win today, you walk up. If we beat Michigan today, we probably bump up to like a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. I know right now we're at the 8 seed projected or whatever. But if you look at our net rating, we're still in the top 20. But you can't always look at net. And a win today is going to be huge. And then you're going to have to come out next week and beat a really good Purdue team that is scrambling right now, who is on a 4-game losing streak. And, well, they were on a 4-game losing streak. They won against UCLA the other day. But you're going to have to win those games down the stretch. It's March. I mean, I know I always make the funny graphic, but it is March. It's time to go. It's either make or break, and your season could be over with just as quick as, March started. But I think that this team can do it. I'm going to always root for Illinois to win the whole thing. I don't know if there'll ever be a year that we can do it. I think last year or Iowa's final year was the year to do it, but I think we can make a good run. I don't think that there is like, if you stay away from Duke and you stay away from Auburn and Houston, and maybe like the Florida, but I've seen Florida play bad too. If you stay away from those teams for a while and you see them in the Elite Eight or Sweet 16, then I like our odds. Catch them on an off night. This Illinois team's good enough to where if you don't play your best basketball, you're going to get run out of the gym. With that being said, if Illinois plays bad, we could easily be beat by New Mexico, who is going to be a 9 seed with Richard Pitino, and they could just take full advantage of us and absolutely blow us out the barn. But if there's any questions right now or comments or whatever you guys are wanting to think, go ahead and do that. I'm going to keep kind of talking about the Michigan game and everything else, and also look at around the Big Ten right now. I know that the Michigan State and Wisconsin game is currently on. Maybe look at that for just a second and see where they're at, because those are two teams that obviously Illinois has won and lost to, I guess. But yeah, right now Wisconsin's got a 2-point lead at Michigan State. I think Michigan State's going to win that. And yeah, so first question is good buddy Haven. Definitely going to have him on the podcast here soon. Big Illinois fan. We watch pretty much every game together, or talk about every game together. Keys to the game for Illinois today: got to keep the ball in our hands. Got to have great possessions, efficient possessions, I should say. Can't turn the ball over more than, I'd say, 10, 12 times. If you turn it over 15 to 20 times, you're going to get beat by 10. Another key is we've got to be efficient with the 3-point shots we take. I don't mind shooting 25 of them, but we've got to make 11, 12 of those. Maybe if you shoot 30 of them, you got to make 12. But like 9 of 29 isn't a bad night by any means. Just got to shoot around that 30% range, but you've got to shoot 60% from the field, and you've got to make your free throws. This Michigan team fouls a lot. The other night against Rutgers shot almost 20 free throws, and they capitalized on like 15 of them. Got to be even more efficient than that, because, I mean, they lost by 3 still. But if we rebound the ball well, we don't allow Golden to, absolutely take over underneath. Usage kind of holds his own down there, we'll be okay. And I just think the key is you got to shut down Danny Wolf. If you let Donaldson, if he scores, he scores. We've got good enough guard defense. Kylan, I think, will shut him down for the most part. But I think the big key to the game is limiting Danny Wolf's production on the offensive end and attacking the glass and attacking them in the paint, where their smaller guards aren't going to be able to take full advantage of our transition and our ability to get to the rim. I think that if Namiri Burnett, who's one of the better defenders in the Big Ten, if he's on, say, Trey White or Yakachonis, he has to either, we got to drive at him, got to get him in foul trouble, got to do the little things, got to get a little chippy. I think one of the big things against Illinois versus Iowa that I love to see was Kasparis Yakachonis looks to the crowd, looks to the Orange Crush, and kind of says, like, after a turnover, like, let's go, let's get up, everybody get up, and that crowd just erupted. You would see that years before with Kofi and Io and TSJ and even Trent. And as far back as Malcolm Hill, and Ravonte Rice, those were guys that, if you see somebody from a college basketball team say, hey, let's get up, let's get going, get a little cockiness in there, show that, we're here, like, we're gonna play with you guys. We don't care where we're playing at. We don't care if it's the rec, the park, or, going all the way up to Ann Arbor. We're gonna play you guys for 40 minutes, and at the end of it, we'll see who comes out victorious. But got to bring energy, got to have an efficient day. Can't turn the ball over 20 plus times or 15 times at that. Got to rebound the basketball, and just have to have efficient offensive possessions where we score and then we limit defensive transition buckets. I know Michigan, they're big ISO. They like to get Wolf in the pick and roll, which is, it's pretty cool to see a 7-footer or 6'10", however tall he is, run their offense through the isolation through the high ball screen. And I think with the new way that we're kind of hedging ball screens and giving Kylan and the guards a little bit more time to, get out there and get underneath that screen or dig underneath that screen. I think it's big for that. And then you got to be able to have your guy who's sitting in the corner slide on over and get to the point where they can take away that big man if they have to. So yeah, I think those are the keys to the game. Haven's got another Jake Davis legacy game. No. I think if Jake plays 10 minutes and he can hit a couple threes or maybe one or two threes, get a big offensive rebound where you're kind of like, hell yeah. That's a big board from a guy that's not super athletic. That'll be big, but I don't see him having a legacy game. Maybe he gets just absolutely blazing hot, comes in, knocks down like 6 threes, and we just rout him. But I don't think that'll happen. I think Brad Underwood's got to outcoach Dusty May today and show that, we beat Dusty before, but that was with a team that didn't have as much talent, but was still a top 25 team at the time. So with that being said, I think that this game's winnable. I don't think Jake Davis has a legacy game, but I think that this is a game that Illinois can win, obviously, as every game is in the Big Ten. And I'm nervous. I'm excited, like I said earlier, but man, it's good. It's a good feeling to come in on a Sunday where we've won a game in the week. We're still receiving votes in the top 25. I don't want to be a top 25 the rest of the year. Just so that when we go into the tournament, we don't have the pressure. We don't have, the added stress of, oh, well, if we're a 6 seed and we get on the side of or where we jump, like even last year, I was so glad we won the Big Ten tournament. It was awesome. Seeing that team come together, and we beat Wisconsin, which Michigan and Wisconsin for basketball, and Indiana a little bit. But mainly Wisconsin. I absolutely do not like Wisconsin. I know my girlfriend is from there. She's a big Badgers fan, and her brother goes to Wisconsin, but I'm just not a big Wisconsin Badgers fan. I absolutely still hate Brad Davidson wherever the hell he's at, probably in Croatia playing basketball and committing stupid fouls and just being a dirty player. Or maybe he's watching the podcast. That'd be pretty cool. I know we get chirped on here, get some comments on here from probably burner accounts, but I really I don't like Wisconsin, and I don't like Michigan. I think that if we win those games in a year, I'm pretty happy. I used to not like Iowa a lot, but Iowa's pretty crappy now since they've lost those guys. I think Fran needs fired or just needs to retire. But yeah, if there's any more comments, questions, send them in. Probably got another like 5-ish minutes on here. But yeah, looking ahead to next week, Illinois got some big games. They play on Friday, so we will definitely recap that game on Sunday, along with little fun segment with the guys. But yeah. Happy Sunday. This is the 5th week that we've done this. I'm going to continue to do this. I want everybody to know that. I know that some weeks I don't necessarily post the thumbnail or get the live out ahead of time as I was in the first couple weeks, but I'm going to continue to do this throughout the rest of this year for sure, because I know that baseball season's coming up. We've got a lot of guys that I'm friends with that aren't Cardinals fans. Got a couple White Sox fans. I don't know how much we'll talk about them. If Cole Silzer's watching, the White Sox suck. They're poverty, but we can still talk about them. Cubs are going to be good this year. Excited to see Cardinals Cubs. Probably go to a couple of those games with the guys. But I'm excited for the future of this. I'm going to continue to, crank these videos out every week. Might once school is over with in the summer, try to do a little more podcast out in other areas. Like, we might do some outdoor stuff. Might do a couple of videos even where we talk, and then might play some sort of games or something like that. I know people have asked about what other things are we going to do for the podcast? What other areas are we going to touch on? But there's going to be a little bit of a dead spot. I know once basketball's over, there's a little spot where like baseball is the only sport going on because, like I said earlier in the first episode, I'm not going to really cover the NBA. I don't really watch the NBA. But I'm going to cover baseball, and then once football season starts, we're going to really amp it up weekly. That'll be fun. We'll get on the podcast before those noon o'clock games, kind of give our picks, previews, everything else. And then looking even farther ahead in the end of the month / 2 months, going to look at the NBA or the NFL draft and the NFL free agency, recapping that, what we want our teams to do. But yeah. To end it off, my shout out of the week, shout out of the day. I'm going to shout out Caitlin Young. Just got her number put up in the rafters from Murray State. Baller. She's a phenomenal basketball player. Exciting to watch every week. She's probably the most athletic member of that family right now, but her little brother's coming, and that dude is going to be really, really good. I know Brev's going to get in the lab with him, see what he can do. But shout out to her, Murray State legend, Oakwood, Illinois legend. Excited to see her number got retired. And she's had a hell of a career. My second shout out is the Eastern Illinois women's basketball team. Capped off a flawless home stretch of the year. Ended up winning every single game that they played at EIU. They're going to be the 3 seed for the OVC tournament. Going to go watch that game. Excited to see what that team can do. And I'm really hoping that Caitlin and Murray State and then Eastern Illinois, I hope they both get in the tournament. I hope they both win their respective conference tournaments, can go watch some of those games. And yeah, shout out to those girls. I know this is a pretty men's-sided heavy podcast, but I do venture out and watch my friends and obviously my girlfriend play. And I encourage a lot of people to start looking into the women's college basketball side. They're pretty fun and adventurous games, and you can really see some more X's and O's basketball, whereas when you look at the men's side, you pretty much just get isolation ball and pretty crazy athletic plays. But yeah, shout out to both of those teams. Shout out to Kate. You guys keep doing great things. And yeah, so this has been week 5 of the 217 podcast. Week 6 is going to be unofficial weekend. So we'll see what state of mind we're all in. But it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. I encourage everybody to tune in. And like I said last week, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe, get this thing going. And then once we reach 100, everybody shoot me a DM on Instagram. I linked it below in the description this week. And show me that, you're subscribed. Do a little spinny wheel whenever we get to the 100 subscribers. And we're going to give away $25 gift card to like Buffalo Wild Wings or, some place, we might do a Monocle's gift card, Buffalo Wild Wings, just good places to eat, Texas Roadhouse, something like that. Just show my appreciation to y'all. But yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in this week. Everybody have a blessed Sunday, have a blessed week. And yeah, thank you guys again.